Hi, this is Dr Kirk. I'll be sharing a trabeculectomy with Express Mini Shunt and Mitomycin C video with you here today. Uh, this is a 6/0 traction suture being placed partial thickness through the superior cornea to infraduct the eye, then approximately 8 millimeters posterior to the limbus. That's 50-50 mixture of Mitomycin C and non-preserved lidocaine. Now 1 millimeter posterior to the limbus, 3 millimeter conjunctival peritomy is being created with sharp Westcott scissors. And the underlying tenon's capsule is dissected carefully with these sharp Westcott scissors. And these are Chandler forceps that are safe with the conjunctiva and will not degrade the integrity of the conjunctiva. Now, blunt Westcott scissors to create further dissection into our potential bleb space. Now using cautery with an eraser tip and 1 millimeter side port through which non-preserved lidocaine is injected into the anterior chamber to provide additional anesthesia. This is a partial thickness scleral flap being created and a crescent blade used to further open that scleral flap location. Then a 10-0 nylon suture. I'm going to create sutures at both ends of the scleral flap, and I pre-place these sutures before creating any sclerotomy and before placing the shunt. This allows me to have the most control over the surgical situation in these patients where we're doing a trabeculectomy. I like to have everything prepared. Cutting these sutures. Now a 25 gauge needle created a sclerotomy through which the Express Mini Shunt can be inserted, and now that that's been inserted and has a connection into the anterior chamber, fluid is flowing freely out, and a slip knot is created on both of these 10-0 nylon sutures to bring the scleral flap down so that it can limit the outflow. We want just a small amount of flow out of the Express Mini Shunt so that there's adequate pressure within the eye and that the pressure doesn't go too low. I checked to see how the flow is with the current suture tension and can adjust it. And then once I'm happy with the amount of flow, I secure those sutures with locking bites. Now, this is 8/0 vicryl suture with a J974 needle from Ethicon. The key to this type of suture is you want the needle size to be no larger than the size of the suture. So it's not so important which company it comes from. It's about the size of the needle relative to the suture. Create a scleral bite at the lateral terminus, and now going to take bites of the conjunctiva and tenons, and then bites underneath that shelf of conjunctiva through the sclera. And these are longer bites here. And so we're doing a initial crimping of that conjunctiva followed by then a stretching of the conjunctiva. This fornix-based flap closure technique was originally described by Dr. Jim Wise in the 1990s, and I learned this technique from my mentor, Dr. Gary Condon. And during my fellowship, I was fortunate to publish the paper on his use of this closure technique, and we were able to report the lowest rate of leakage with this type of closure of any closure technique ever described for fornix-based flaps. So this is the best way for me to ensure early success for patients undergoing this surgery. The trabeculectomy with Express Mini Shunt is still the best procedure in my hands for patients who need a pressure in the 6 to 10 range. Pressures of 10 to 15 are okay with a gel stent or a tube shunt, but when a pressure needs to be exceptionally low, the Express Mini Shunt with Mitomycin C is my best option for patients. Filling the anterior chamber, checking to see the flow of the newly formed bleb, checking to make sure there's no leakage. And once I'm satisfied that there's no leakage and that we have a nice flow, cut the traction suture. Thank you for watching.